I can't do the intros are so... Hey guys, Drew Fraser back again, talk about some Blu-rays, and this time it's going to be my personal favorite in my Blu-ray collection. And I'm going to go in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now I'm not doing my whole collection, I just picked out, not even a certain number, but just my favorite movies I have, and then I put them in order of how I like them. And here we go. So first off, to start on the list, is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Now, David Fincher is one of my favorite directors. I've actually never seen the original, which I really need to, and I eventually will. But I did see this one, and I was honestly blown away by it. I thought Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig gave great performances. It was beautifully directed. It has a really slow pace, but I actually really dig slow-paced movies. So, yes, I love this movie. Next up is The Avengers. Now, I don't think this is a perfect movie, but it is a lot of fun. And one of the reasons it made my list is because I actually think this is the best Blu-ray transfer I've ever seen. It's so beautiful. The picture quality is really crisp. It's really nice. And this movie is also really fun. I loved it in theaters. I was a little disappointed with Ultron, honestly, but this one's great. Alright, next up is one that I saw in theaters, knew nothing about, and couldn't believe what I was seeing. The Cabin in the Woods. It's one of my favorite horror movies. It's completely absurd. I'm not going to give anything away about it because if you're going to see it, then see it knowing nothing about it. It's so funny. It's great. Great horror. Great action. Great comedy. Check out Cabin in the Woods. It's one of my favorites. Alright, next up is one I think a lot of people probably haven't heard of, but absolutely worth watching. In Bruges. I love this movie. I don't even know why I bought it. I just heard good things about it, so I picked it up off Amazon, and I was laughing out loud. Colin Farrell gives the best performance in his career, in my opinion. Brandon Gleeson and Ralph Fiennes are so great as well. If you like dark comedy, this is definitely one that you need to watch. Next up, we got Wild at Heart. This is actually my personal favorite David Lynch movie. It's Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. It's really absurd, really violent, a lot of fun, a really great love story. Another underrated movie in my opinion, and I love it. Alright, right after Wild at Heart, we got my favorite Tim Burton movie, Sweeney Todd, which I think is really underrated actually. I love musicals. I have a weird love for them. And this is probably my favorite. It's really violent with a great performance from Johnny Depp and Helen Bonham Carter. It's awesome direction, great songs. I really do love this movie. I saw it when I was young. Probably I was a little too young to watch it, and I have some nostalgia with it, but I really do enjoy this movie. So next up, we got a David O. Russell movie, Silver Linings Playbook. Yeah, this is a newer one, but I was pretty blown away by this movie. I really like David O. Russell. I think he's a great director. I heard he's kind of a pain to work with.
For 3 fucking years not to have some fucking cunt yell at me in front of the fucking crew when I'm trying to fucking help you, bitch!
He puts out some great movies, and Bradley Cooper really blew me away in this movie. I hadn't really seen him give like a great performance. He was always good but not great, and he was absolutely phenomenal in this, and Jennifer Lawrence was equal if not better. It's a really great movie, great story, awesome direction, great comedy, great drama, and I love it. Next up is one that showed us that Ben Affleck is not a failure, and that is The Town. Now, he did do this one after Gone Baby Gone, but this one, he directed, and he acted in it, and he wrote it, and it's a great crime heist movie. Honestly, I was 15 years old when I saw it, and I think it's actually like a masterpiece of filmmaking. I really love this movie. Awesome crime movie. Alright, next up on my personal favorite in my collection is another one I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard of, and that is The Dark Crystal. It's Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. This movie is like 99% all puppetry, like minimal CGI. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing to look at. And not only is it visually mesmerizing, but it has such a great story behind it, and I really love this movie. And right up next is the cliche on everybody's favorite, and that's Fight Club. And there's a reason why it's on everybody's favorite. It's because it's a great movie. David Fincher at his best again, as always. And ironically, right after that, we got another Fincher coming up, and that is Gone Girl. Yes, this is a newer one, and yes, I am a Fincher fanboy, but I've probably seen this movie 7, 8 times now. And the rewatchability is unbelievable. I saw it in the theater, and I loved it, and I wasn't sure how it would hold up after rewatching it because of the twist, and it holds up so well. I can't believe how much I love this movie. Check out Gone Girl. And again, following up on newer movies that I absolutely love, and this one will be a classic, I'm calling it, and that's Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. I can't really say much about this movie because I was pretty much blown away. I didn't have a problem with it. It has some of the best acting, best direction, best screenplay. It's so incredible. Honestly, a masterful work of art in film. Alright, now to throw a comic book movie in there, and that's Batman Begins. I actually probably like this as much as I do The Dark Knight. They're right one-on-one. But I want to throw Batman Begins in there because I think it's one that doesn't get as much love. And I think that The Dark Knight is seen as so much superior because of Heath Ledger's performance. But I really think this is one of the best origin stories for superhero films I've seen. I really do love this movie as much as I do The Dark Knight. Alright, next up is another David Fincher movie, and that's The Social Network. One that had no right to be as good as it was, but Aaron Sorkin can make anything great. Aaron Sorkin is a screenwriter. He also did recently Steve Jobs, which is another phenomenal piece of filmmaking. It's a movie about Facebook, but it still turned out so unexpectedly good, and I really do love this movie. And to throw it back to 90s action movies is my personal favorite, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I really love the first Terminator, but Terminator 2 takes it away from me. It has amazing action, and a lot of heart was put into this one too, and that's why I really enjoyed Terminator 2. And coming up next is my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and that is There Will Be Blood. Another one that is really slow paced, but it's worth watching. I think one of the best performances ever given in a film by Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't think a lot of people would argue with that. It's so great. It's a slow burn, but I couldn't recommend it anymore. And right after that one, we have The Fighter, another David O. Russell, a great performance from Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, and Amy Adams. It has great boxing sequences, a really great story, and really awesome direction. I really love this movie. Up next is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, which is not what you would expect it to be, because it's Inglourious Basterds. This is one where I understand why you would like his other movies better, like, you know, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. I love all of his movies, actually. I even like Death Proof. But I really love this movie. Brad Pitt is so great in this. He's overshadowed by Christoph Waltz, because he gives an amazing performance, but there's so much great acting, and they're great set pieces, great setups. It's thrilling, it's funny, it has awesome action, and it's completely absurd. And after The Bastards is Casino Royale, my favorite James Bond movie. I've never actually been a fan of James Bond movies. I think they're a little corny and a little over the top. But then Daniel Craig came along with this James Bond, and he was gritty, dirty, and dark. And you really got behind this character. I love this movie so much. Spectre sucked. Alright, after that one, it's the Mad Max trilogy. I have all the movies together. It came in this bundle. I'm not a big on Thunderdome. It's okay. It's fine. I love the first Mad Max, but I'm mostly putting it in there for Road Warrior, which is my favorite. The Tom Hardy one is also really fantastic, but up next is The Princess Bride. It's funny, it's romantic, it has action, it has drama, It has death. It has life, weddings, giants, goblin things. It's awesome. Check out Princess Bride. It's so much fun. And after The Princess Bride is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This movie bombed, which is stupid because it's awesome and it's funny, and Edgar Wright did a fantastic job. I love this movie. And up next is one that's near and dear to my heart because it was my first R-rated movie in the theater. I was 13 years old, and that is Zombieland. I had tears coming out of my eyes watching this movie. It's hilarious. It's still funny to this day. Woody Harrelson kills it. Emma Stone is Emma Stone. I love Zombieland. And coming up next is the only foreign film on my list. What's it gonna be? It's Pan's Labyrinth. Guillermo del Toro is a masterful director. I've said it once and I'll say it again. And Pan's Labyrinth is my personal favorite movie by him. It's sad, but it's beautiful. The creature designs are unbelievable. The dinner scene is terrifying. It's a great fairy tale movie. And next up, I cheated a little bit because I'm putting 3 in 1, but I don't care because it's the Evil Dead trilogy by Sam Raimi with Bruce Campbell as Ash. I love these movies so much. They're the perfect combination of horror and comedy. They're absurd, but they're so great at the same time. They know what they are, and they have fun with it. So next up is oldest movie in my list by Sergio Leone. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My favorite Western of all time. It's perfect. Not much else to say about it. And after that comes Rocky. Only the first one though. That's what comes after that one. But I actually like all of them except for 5. I hate 5. But all the other ones are good. But I mostly love Rocky. The first Rocky. It's perfect. It's awesome. And next up is a movie I did not like when I first watched it. And now, it is one of my favorite movies of all time. Blade Runner. Another slow-paced, slow burn. But it's sci-fi. Harrison Ford. Ridley Scott directed it. It is so amazing. It's a sci-fi movie that does not focus on the action. It focuses on the story and the characters, and I love that. It has one of the best monologues ever. And following up a Harrison Ford sci-fi movie with a Harrison Ford sci-fi movie, probably the greatest sci-fi movie ever made, Star Wars, specifically The Empire Strikes Back, but I love all 3 of them. Yeah, I even love Return of the Jedi. It's flawed, but I still love it. So there's not much I can really say about Star Wars, because I love it so much, and I'll probably even put up another video just talking about Star Wars because it means so much to me. But The Empire Strikes Back is perfect sci-fi filmmaking. It's so beautiful. One of the best villains, best protagonist. Han Solo, he's a rascal, he's awesome. Princess Leia, Chewbacca, the whole crew. It's like putting peas in a pod, man. Works. Yep. Alright, and following a Harrison Ford movie with a Harrison Ford movie with another Harrison Ford movie. I really like Harrison Ford. And that's Indiana Jones, specifically Raiders of the Lost Ark. But The Last Crusade is close. It's so good too. But I gotta go with the original, the one that introduced us to the character. My favorite movie character of all time. He's the perfect protagonist. You're behind him 100%. Harrison Ford plays this character so well. They almost ruined him with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is a movie that I don't hate, but it's not good. But like I said, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the perfect action-adventure movie. So much fun. So perfectly made by one of the greatest filmmakers that ever exist, Steven Spielberg. Raiders of the Lost Ark. A+ movie. And now, for my personal favorite movie in my collection, which is probably something that nobody really sees coming. And that's Drive. This movie changed how I saw film altogether. I used to go to the movies for enjoyment, just to kind of check my brain at the door. And Drive was the first movie that I watched that showed me that film was, or could be, an art form. And that it could mean so much more than just simply sitting down and zoning out and looking at a screen. Drive really did immerse me in the film, and I couldn't believe how much I loved it. It made me fall in love with Ryan Gosling as an actor. I think he's so underappreciated. And Nicholas Winding Refn as a great, artful director. I really do love Drive. I know some people think it's a little bit pretentious, and I can see why you would think that, but I don't see it this way. I think it's the perfect film, and I love it for that reason. And that was my personal favorite movies in my collection. Yeah, I know, like, you know, if you're watching this, you probably didn't agree with a lot of them. There's probably some movies in there that you didn't like, but film is subjective, so that's completely okay. Opinions are cool, dude. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put some links down below for my other videos that I put up. And you should subscribe, and you should like this video, and I love you. Thank you.